Korea, the United Nations victory that seemed certain becomes retreat as 1 million Chinese Reds invade Korea from the north. United Nations troops fall back across the entire frozen Korean peninsula. Here in Western Korea, men of the 8th Army march for days without sleep and successfully escape the communist trap. But as the Chinese strike across the Manchurian border, their trap does close on 20,000 Marines and infantrymen of the 10th Corps in the east. Scattered into small isolated units by the violent Red attack, these men in bitter fighting gradually rally and regroup around the town of Hagaru. But they are still surrounded. To fight their way out, they need a miracle. It is 60 miles from the Changjin Reservoir on the Hagaru Plateau to the escape port of Hungnam. The 15,000 encircled at Hagaru must fight their way through 100,000 Reds and down an ice-glazed, winding mountain corridor to Hungnam. Their first goal is Koto, 10 miles away. Fighting by night in weather that reaches 30 degrees below zero, moving by day, the units from Hagaru march into Koto to link up with 5,000 other isolated Marines. They have walked for 18 hours, gone without sleep for 3 nights, but they left no wounded and no equipment. We didn't come out as stragglers, one officer reported. We came out as Marines. In retreat and still surrounded, these fighting men take prisoners. Our wounded are evacuated by air from an emergency airstrip. Not one casualty is left behind. Then there's a moment's rest in a raging blizzard. Such were the men of Valley Forge. It is now 14 days since the Reds attacked, 100,000 strong, to close the trap on these 20,000 soldiers and Marines. Days of blizzard and battle, of fighting and freezing. But a miracle does come to pass as these Marines reach Hungnam, its harbor packed with Navy ships. Here, under enemy guns, 105,000 troops are taken safely off the beachhead, along with 90,000 refugees, 18,000 vehicles, and 1/3 of 1 million tons of supplies. It is a feat without precedent in warfare, a fitting climax to the saga of bravery written in the blood-stained snows of North Korea. Sailing down the coast to new defense positions in South Korea, these men are already back on combat duty, prepared to hold the line as long as human courage can hold it.
Last June, the forces of communist imperialism broke out into open warfare in Korea. The United Nations moved to put down this act of aggression, and by October had all but succeeded. Then in November, the communists threw their Chinese armies into the battle against the free nations. By this act, the communists showed that they are now willing to push the world to the brink of a general war to get what they want. The communist rulers are trying their best to split the free nations apart. Unity with our allies is now and must continue to be the foundation of our effort. Working together, the free nations can create military forces strong enough to convince the communist rulers that they cannot gain by aggression. Working together, we hope we can prevent another world war. The job of building a strong America must be done on our farms, in our factories, and in our homes. It must be done by every one of us, wherever we are, and whatever our jobs may be. Many of you who are young people will serve in the armed forces of your country. Nothing you will do later in life will be of greater benefit to your homes, your communities, or your friends. Many others of you will have to work longer hours in factories or mines or mills. Think of this not as longer hours, but as more planes, more tanks, more ships, more arms for the defense of our homes and our way of life. We must remember that our goal is not war, but peace.
As the Chinese Communists force United Nations troops into retreat in Korea, British Prime Minister Clement Attlee arrives in Washington for conferences with President Truman. On his way here, Attlee met with French Premier Pleven to discuss France's role in meeting the new threat. Also on hand for the historic week of conferences are Secretaries Acheson and Marshall. As Mr. Attlee leaves the White House, the chiefs of state jointly announce their determination to fight on in Korea and to speed the rearming of the Atlantic Pact nations in Europe as the best answer to worldwide communist aggression. Later, addressing the National Press Club, the British Prime Minister says that the aim of the United Nations is to bring about peace, but he emphatically adds,
"Our forces are fighting alongside yours, and you may be certain that in fair or foul weather, where the stars and stripes fly in Korea, the British flag will fly beside them."
In Washington, Charles E. Wilson confers with Defense Secretary George Marshall following Wilson's appointment as Supreme Director of America's vast industrial mobilization. As boss of wages, prices, and war material, Mr. Wilson, who has resigned as president of the General Electric Company, will be second only to President Truman in the nation's war emergency program. Chinese Communist General Wu and his delegation arrive at the United Nations. In reply to the charge of Chinese-led aggression in Korea, made by U.S. Delegate Warren Austin, Wu makes a 2-hour speech defending the presence of Chinese Communist armies in Korea and in turn accuses the United States of criminal aggression. Continued efforts by a succession of UN members to bring about a ceasefire and the end of Chinese intervention are blocked by Russia and her satellites. With a hearty send-off from Russia's Yakov Malik, General Wu departs for China by way of Moscow, still silent on peace, still blaming America for the Korean War. From Brussels, however, comes good news for the anti-communist countries, as U.S. Secretary Acheson and 11 other Atlantic Pact foreign ministers hammer out concrete plans for the defense of Western Europe. The wheels are set in motion for speeding up production and establishing a unified Western Army under one command. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, president of Columbia University, is named as commander of the new Atlantic Council armies. The general whose skill and diplomacy led the way to the Nazi surrender at Reims is, of all Americans, perhaps the one most admired by Europeans. His own countrymen have hailed him as the highest type of soldier and citizen. Now Ike Eisenhower goes back on the active duty for which he's always held himself ready. It's agreed that if anybody can do the job in Europe, Eisenhower can. 600 Protestant church leaders meet in Cleveland to form the National Council of the Churches of Christ in the USA. The delegates represent 29 denominations, 150,000 individual churches, and a total of more than 31 million members. Formation of the new council after 9 years of planning consolidates 8 major interdenominational agencies and has been hailed as one of the greatest moves towards Christian unity since the Reformation. The council will go forward with efforts in 4 fields: education, life and work, home missions, and foreign missions. The Right Reverend Henry Knox Sherrill, presiding bishop of the Protestant Episcopal Church, takes over as first president of the council. Then the council joins in prayer for the people of the United States and for the success of the United Nations in bringing peace to the world.
Explosions rock Sicily's mighty Mount Etna, shooting flames high into the air and spewing forth a burning stream of lava. The villagers living on its heaving slopes watch the boiling river of molten rock move toward their homes. The volcano erupts periodically every 6 years, but the present explosion is the worst since the 1920s. Terrified peasants gather together their belongings and flee. The onrushing stream of lava is 20 feet deep and almost half a mile wide. A religious procession from one of the villages in the lava's path goes forth to pray for deliverance, hoping that divine intervention will save them from the angry mountain.
When there are elections in Hawaii, the candidates serenade the voters as they go to the polls. This year, the elections have special significance for these tropical Pacific islands, which became a United States territory at their own request in 1898. For today, Hawaiians are voting on the Constitution under which they would live if, again at their own request, Hawaii should be voted America's 49th state by the U.S. Congress. 85% of the eligible voters turn out to set a record at the polls. Governor Steinbach inspects the ballots, approving the Constitution 3-1. If Hawaii does become a state, we'll need a new flag, perhaps with 7 rows of 7 stars, like this.
Fashion takes to the ice at New York's Rockefeller Center skating pond. Though Susan's technique leaves something to be desired, her one-piece rayon skating dress is just right for the occasion. Here's Tom to help, but he'll have to catch her first. Now if she could only skate like Marty. Marty wears a green cotton corduroy jacket and skirt ensemble with a Dutch cap. Susan's day will come, however, for Tom promises he'll help her improve. And before very long, yes, Susan is back. She has a new outfit, too, with jacket and pleated skirt in a black watch plan. Of course, Marty hasn't lost her skill or her chic. She's wearing a cotton twill-back velveteen vest and skirt with matching cap. These latest skating fashions are nice on ice.
A colorful night parade seen by 300,000 ushers in Orange Bowl festivities, leading to the clash of the University of Miami with Clemson as the American college football season comes to a climax in the traditional bowl games. More than ever this season, football interest turned to Southern gridirons. Here, the news magazine of the screen presents highlights of the South's great bowl games. Pageantry and carnival join with the appeal of an exciting American sport. The Orange Bowl itself, where South Carolina's unbeaten Clemson Tigers take the offensive against mighty Miami. Clemson halfback Billy Hare hurls a forward pass to end Bob Hudson. And a moment later, star fullback Fred Cohn makes the first half's only score. Clemson leads 7-0. Between halves, a day at the circus pageant thrills the crowd. But greater thrills are still to come. For after Clemson has scored again and leads 13-0, Miami gets moving. Halfback Frank Smith twists his way deep downfield to the Clemson 5-yard line. And Clemson's lead is cut to a fragile 6 points as Harry Mallios scores for Miami. Another touchdown would give Miami a chance to go ahead. And here it comes. Quarterback Bob Schneidenbach's pass to Ed Lutz. And Lutz runs it to the Clemson 12-yard line. A few moments earlier, Miami was behind by 13 points. Now, as Jack Hackett throws to Frank Smith for a touchdown, Miami takes a 14-13 lead. Late in the fourth quarter, still leading by 1 point, Miami receives a Clemson punt. Harry Malleos twists and turns on a sensational touchdown run that seems to give Miami certain victory. But the great run doesn't count because of a penalty, and the last moment safety gives Clemson 2 points and the game, 15-14. In Dallas, Tennessee meets Texas in the Cotton Bowl. And here, with Tennessee's Hank Lauricella doing the carrying, is one of football's greatest broken field runs. Watch him dodge. Al Payne finishes what Lauricella started with a lazy pass to John Grubel in the end zone. Tennessee takes an early lead, 7-0. Then Texas takes command. After one touchdown, Ben Tompkins heaves a 34-yard pass to Gib Dawson, and Texas ends the half leading 14-7. Texas leads by a single point, 14-13, when a Tompkins pass is intercepted by Tennessee's Jimmy Hill in the game's dying minutes. Hill runs into Texas territory, and Volunteer hopes stay alive. Now, to grab victory from defeat, Tennessee's Lauricella passes to Rechichar that puts Tennessee 26 yards nearer the goal. 3 minutes remain. Lauricella makes the most of them as his smash sets up a Tennessee Cotton Bowl victory, 20-14. In New Orleans, mighty Oklahoma, unbeaten in 3 years, meets Kentucky in the Sugar Bowl. Kentucky's quarterback, Babe Parilli, throws to halfback Wilbur Jamerson in the end zone. With the game only 2 minutes old, Kentucky leads 7-0. Oklahoma battles to keep its tremendous string of 31 straight victories. But Kentucky won't stop. A collision ends a 16-yard game. Then it's Parilli again, showing off his throwing skill. Al Bruno catches the pass and goes to the 1-foot line. One play later, Kentucky's lead is 13-0. Finally, late in the fourth quarter, Oklahoma gets moving. 5 times this year, Oklahoma has come from far behind to win. Can the Sooners do it again? Well, this play nets them a first down. And on the next play, Oklahoma makes its first score on a pass from Vessels to Green. But that's as far as Kentucky will budge. Mighty Oklahoma, rated the nation's best football team, bows to unconquerable Kentucky 13-7, ending the greatest winning streak in modern times. And another year of football goes down in sports history.